So we have like 2 hours lah macam tu. So normally our brain only work the first 45 minutes, but too long pun macam sengsara kan. Let me share the slide. You all ada access to Smart Tree kan?
Ada.
Ya, nanti semua nota-nota and assignment and quiz semua dalam tu lah. Okay. Yang you have access to ni kak, Smart Hadir.
Yes.
Kejap let me share yang Smart Hadir. Whether you can record or not. No, scan or not. Kejap Coba you scan ni, boleh kah? Testing sajalah. Boleh kah you scan? Boleh kan? Beatrice lagi. Boleh kah?
Okay.
Okay.
Improve. Ada ke doktor?
Ada.
Scan.
Ada sudah tu?
Ada ke saya punya?
Ya, ada.
Susah guna.
So,
Oh, okay, ada.
ini lagi satu. Farah lost contact. Farah ada.
Okay, sudah.
Kita tunggu Farah dulu. Macam dia terkeluar.
Oh, ya.
Hai Farah.
Sorry. Hilang line kejap tadi.
Ya. Oke.
Oke.
Boleh nampak? So this is KI70303 Information Retrieval. Before that, kamu pernah ambil any course kah related to data mining kah atau machine learning atau information retrieval?
Informal macam
Tidak.
tidak. Ya, tapi ya.
Beatrice punya degree dulu apa?
Degree saya apa saja degree ya? Lupa sudah.
Computer science? Oh, IS?
Computer science, bukan computer science, keputaran industri, industrial computing.
Oh,
Tapi
okay.
long time ago lah.
Farah?
Degree in Computer Science Network Engineering.
Oh, HC05 lah kan?
Iya,
Tahun bila grade? Baru
2021.
last year lah.
Iya,
Oh, jadi kita belum pernah jumpa kan?
belum nampak batch sejak jumpa dokter. Batch saya yang lain.
Oh, jadi you pernah ambil nih information retrieval ataupun data mining you ambil?
Tiada AI adalah.
Oh, AI sejalan kan?
Ya,
Di sana pun you ambil AI kan? Siapa aja lah? Iya, Dr. Azali. Tapi nantilah you ambil. On Sunday kan? Sudah
Ya,
iya.
besok.
ya, okay lah. So we start with this one. This course is called Information Retrieval. The first session we look into the introduction to the course. Okay. So the course objective to strengthen student ability to understand the concept and the issue related to information retrieval. So we will look into the basic concept and also technique yang we will use in information retrieval. And at the same time juga, we will look into some of the practical that you will need in order to build a document retrieval system. So dia termasuk hands-on lah. Okay. So the main objective is the end of the course, you should be able to understand the basic concept of information retrieval and some of the technique that we can use lah.
Dokter ada share slide kah?
Oh ya kan?
Saya,
Macam ada. Oh,
ya,
tapi
sebab masih ya.
saya share yang attendance pula tu kan.
Iya.
Banyak nampak. Oh, baik. Okay.
Nampak.
Okay. So this ulang sekali lagi. This is KI70303. So called information retrieval. So we look into the basic concept and technique that we can use in information retrieval. So we have a few concepts that you need to understand, and at the same time also we have hands-on practical that you need to experience in building a document retrieval system. So there are some calculation, there are some practical that you need to complete in this course. And we look into the course learning outcome. We focusing on 3 PLO, program learning outcome. So the first one is PLO. We start with C3. C3 meaning that we look at how do you apply the knowledge to solve the problem. Okay, C3 ke atas lah. Yeah. And we have 20% assignment, we have 20% midterm, and 10% quizzes. So these quizzes, 10% ni, we will take online in the smart version 3. Assignment 20% also will be given in the smart version 3. So all submission must go through the smart version 3. Okay, so we will have our midterm, 20% midterm. So this one will cover up to where we have studied. So normally up to week 7 or week 7, no, week 6 or 8. Tapi since we going to session per week, so that means we will cover until week 6 for your midterm. So that is 20%. And at the same time also, in the smart version 3, I will put up the practical lab. So what you need to do is you just go through the step by step on how to do the lab and show us what is your output. So the target is when you go through the step by step on doing the lab, there are certain target that you need to reach. And when you get the output, you you snapshot, and then you put in your answer sheet, and then you submit into the system. Okay. And lastly, we have the PLO6, which refer to long life learning. So that is your final exam, 40%. So both of these, like the assignment, midterm, um, okay, what we have here, let me go to the next one. Okay, what we have here, so this is one part. The second part is this one. Okay, so you need to pass at least 50% from this. So meaning that the total here is 60%, kan? So you need to get at least 30%. Okay, so similar to this is 40%. Total mark, you need to get 50% out of 40. So basically, you need to have at least more than 20%. Okay, so otherwise, we cannot pass you because this is according to the MQA requirement. Continuous assessment must be 50% and above, and final exam must be 50% and above. Okay, so walaupun you punya final marks is like 55, okay, tapi you punya continuous assessment is let's suppose 29%, and you punya final exam you can cover up to let's suppose 36. Okay, so when you add up this thing, you get 55. No, this is 26. Let's suppose this is 65. I'm just giving you the example so that nanti tidak ada confusion. So let's suppose this is 35. Okay, so walaupun you get this is pass, kan, tapi you fail this one because this one you need to get 30 and above, must be at least 50%. This one is okay because you have 40% final exam, then you get 35 out of 40%. So this is okay. But you fail this one, so that means this is also fail. Okay. So tapi usually student will get full mark pada sini. So they just worry about this one because the final exam too sometimes black out kan. Okay. If you have any question, you can just stop me lah. Okay, for the reference book, we mainly focus on this one. This one is available online, tapi dia a bit expensive lah. But so far, based on experience, you don't need to buy the book because there are so many reference on the web. Okay, so you just Google lah. We also can refer this textbook. So these two textbooks are very informative, in which you can find all the information related to our lecture. Okay, so the book that we are using, the syllabus that we are using mainly come from here. So later on, I will show you part of the book that where we cover. Okay, so any question? No?
So far, okay.
Okay. So information retrieval introduction lecture notes number 1. So I will go very brief. Actually, the first two lecture too, they are very dry because they give you information, they give you the basic background of information retrieval, what's the difference between discourse and database and so on. Okay, so for the introduction, we will look into these four main components. So the first one is the information retrieval. So basically, they are trying to tell us what is the main problem that we are dealing with. Okay. So when we talk about information retrieval, we are talking about how do we represent the data in the system, how do we store them, and then how we organize them. Okay. So once we have all our data in our database, then we will look into how do we access them. Okay. So this is a bit different from database because in database you have the SQL query. So you have your DB and then you have your SQL statement. Okay, structured query language where you always say select name from this table where the name is equal to this. So you are looking at exact matching. Okay. But for information retrieval, we are looking at document. So they call it unstructured document. Okay. So the type of information that we are referring to, document, web pages, online catalog, structured records, and multimedia objects. So at the early goal of IR, we normally look at how do we index them and then how do we search them. Okay, so indexing is just like giving them a short name so that easier for us to access later on. But the tagging always look at the content. What is the content of the document? And then we tag them. And then when we search for something, we just search the keyword or the topic. Okay. So nowadays, research in IR include how do you model document, how do you search them, how do you classify the text or classify the document, and then how do you build interface to retrieve them, and then how do you visualize the document and its content, okay, and then how do you filter and create different languages that you have on the web. Okay. So we look back at the early development in IR. So it started in 50s where research effort in IR were initiated by these pioneers, Hans-Peter Lund, Eugene Garfield, and Philip Beckley, Kelvin Moore. So they coined the term information retrieval. So this is quite early 50s lah, during the 50s. And then in 1962, they published a book called retrieval evaluation. They talk about how do you evaluate the system that can retrieve information. Okay, this is something like Google. You type the keyword, and then Google will return a list of possible link to the document that almost match to your keyword. Okay, so so in 1963, they published the first book of information retrieval. During this time, dia belum ada Google lagi nih. Okay, and in the late 60s, key research conducted by Karen Spark, okay, Jones and Jared Sultan, they are talking about TF-IDF. So this is how they model the document. We will study this one lah. Okay. How do they represent the document in the system so that the system can understand and then retrieve the document with respect to the keyword that we key in. Okay. Okay, so in 1971, this another key researcher also. So if you look at the information retrieval, this is the key people. One Rich Burgeon articulated the cluster hypothesis. So this is the first person who looked into how do you group the document in your database. Group ataupun how do you cluster the document. Okay. So in 1978, the first SCM conference on IR was held in Rochester. Okay, and after that, in 1979, a classic book entitled Information Retrieval, which focused on probabilistic model. So in this course, we will look into model that related to probabilistic. So how do we model the document? How do we retrieve them based on the uh, presentation of the model? Okay. So next one in 1983, we have this introduction to modern information retrieval. They focus on the vector model. So we will study into this one also, the vector model. Okay. And some of the early work, library, for example, were among the first institution to adopt IR, because last time when you try to look for a book or a document, we always go to the library and then we search the catalog card. Okay, and then in the catalog card we have something like this. Let me fast forward or later on. Okay, so we always refer to this catalog card. Okay, where we have the author, the topic, the content, and the book number. Okay, and these are the information that will be written in the card catalog. Okay, nowadays the focus has been on improved graphical interface because we have system. So last time we just have card. So now we have a system that we can access in order to find and retrieve document. Okay, we have electronic forms, we have hypertext features. So hypertext is linked to another document. Okay, so until recently, information retrieval was an area of interest. So we will look into how do we actually find certain information. Okay, for example, like for example, like this. Okay, find all documents that address the role of federal government in financing the operation of the National Railroad Transportation Corporation. So if you have a question like this, how do you find the information? What is the keyword here? can you find what should you type in the Google?
National
National,
Railroad Transportation Corporation.
this,
The federal government.
okay,
Oh, the federal government in finance. Federal government.
this,
Maybe.
tadi kan, financing, but the keyword is this one, role of federal government in financing. So this is the question that when we want to find information about this, there are so many keywords that you can form from this kan. So when you key in the keyword, normally you will look at the return answer to you, and they have like a list. So when you look at the list, so you will click on the link that you think most relevant to your search. Kan? But the question is, what is the best keyword? What is the best phrases that you should be typing? So that is the issue that we will study in this course. Okay? What is the best phrases, and then how do you measure the which link is the best document that can match to your query? Okay? So when we talk about the IR problem, we are looking at something like this. So we think about what is the information needed, and then how do we transform them into query. So like yang macam tadi itu kan, this one. So we need to have this information, but how do we transform this into a query, a series of keyword ataupun one phrase that will get us the answer. So that is the main problem that we're going to address in this course. So you will learn how to construct the best phrases, and then how do you evaluate the result returned to you, and then how do you compare two different systems that giving you two different answer. So all of those will be studied in this course. Okay. So when we look at for certain information, of course we want to say how do we transform the information needed to query. Okay, but in most cases, based on our experience, we are looking at the keyword only, or the index term. Okay, so the keyword normally give you the best answer, no, the best document, but it depends also how many keywords you need to have. You could type the whole paragraph, or two sentence, or one sentence, or only a few keyword, or only one keyword. So you could try that one. Okay, so given the user query, the key goal of IR system is to retrieve information that is useful or relevant to the user. So this is the another area that we will look into. How do you determine that the written document is relevant to you with respect to the query? How do you measure? How do you justify? How do you validate that? Okay, document 1, document 3, document 4, they are more relevant with respect to the query. How do you justify that? Okay, in our normal day, when we search for certain information, we take for granted that when we type something in the Google, the first two, or the first three, or the first five will be the most relevant document, kan? And as we go to the next 10 results, then they are less important. Okay, so the IR system must rank the information item according to a degree of relevance. So when the Google return a list of possible link to the document, we assume always the top or the top 3, the top 5 will give you the best one, but not necessarily the most important part lah. Because once we found that there is no document which is you think relevant with respect to the query, you change the query, kan? Sometimes you put more keyword, less keyword, or you type the whole sentence, or you type the whole paragraph. Okay? So when we in this course we are looking at this IR problem. Okay, what is the IR problem? We are looking at how do we get relevant document, and then how do we evaluate the document. Okay, so the key goal of an IR system is to retrieve all the items that are relevant to user query, while retrieving as few non-relevant items. So if possible, we do not want to retrieve non-relevant document. Okay, so the notion of relevance is of central importance in IR, meaning that very subjective. Some people thought that the first 3 documents are not relevant. Some people say they are relevant. So it all depends on user background. Okay, background about the subject. So sometimes in semester 3 you will be doing your project, kan? So you will be doing a lot of reading. So when you look for information or journal related to the topic that you are doing, you will have problem because you do not have enough background in certain topic. So you tend to download everything in the first 3 pages of your result. Okay, but if you have a good background, then you become wiser in terms of you downloading the best relevant document. Okay, and in this course also we will look into how do we rank the document based on the query. So meaning that we rank them in terms of how relevant they are with respect to the query. Okay, so consider a user who is looking for certain topic, and then how they translate their information need into a query. So this again, when they want to translate their information need, it all depends on what vocabulary you know. Okay, so it all depends on your background knowledge also. Okay, so from the info that you needed, you need to change to query, but it depends on your background knowledge. Okay, so in this case, we say that the user is searching for information on their interests. Okay, so consider now a user has an interest that either poorly defined or inherently broad. Okay, so the problem now is when we do not have enough background, we tend to define our keyword using less effective keyword or too broad. Okay, so the best one is we need to be focused on specific things so that you can get the right answer right away rather than you just getting the general broad area. Okay, so in this case we say that the user is browsing or navigating the document of the collection, meaning that they're just browsing lah. Okay, so this is you key in your query here. Then once you get the answer from the server, then you browse. So you will going to this circle. No. Let me repeat that one. Okay. So once you get the document, then you go to the browsing. So you are here, but your browsing means you browsing on the same page of the result. And then when you say, okay, I cannot find the document that the information needed. So I will try to key in again. So search again for new document using new keyword. Then you get again your new document, and then you go browsing again. Okay. So the difference between information retrieval versus data retrieval, because we have two. So the retrieval coming from the database. Okay, so it will need exact matching. So the task of determining which document of collection contain the keyword in the user query. Okay, so the one that we have in our database, they are very structured. The one that we have in our information retrieval, they are very unstructured because we do not have fixed column. Okay, so for the database, we are looking at the actual matching. And for the information, we are looking at the degree of relevancy. Okay, so notice that in database, we are looking at actual matching. But in the information retrieval, we are looking at the degree of relevancy of the document. Okay, this is the architecture of IR system. You are here. Okay, so what Google have is that they have a server farm where they have a collection of server. So they keep all the document here, and also each document will have their own tag ataupun index. Okay, so the index will tell you, for example, for this one butterfly, they have two documents that related to butterfly. Okay, so they collect all this information using crawler from the web. Okay, so the crawler will crawl the document, and then they have pre-processing that will store them in the database, and then they will put index or tagging. Okay, so this is what we call the indexing process. But you are here. You are here. Okay, so if you need some information related to specific query, so you will type the query here. So if you're not satisfied, then uh, you will try to expand the query. Okay, and then whatever query you have here, you will retrieve and rank the document. So you retrieve the document from the document collection here, and then you will list them here. Okay, so most of the part in this course we will study about this. How do we formulate the query? How do we expand the query? How do we retrieve? And then how do we perform the ranking? Okay, query formulation, query expansion, information retrieval, and then ranking. So basically, we will do all those things. Okay, so this is another view. So normally we have to transform the query. Okay, so this is you. You are here. You key in the query, and then the system will transform the query like they try to expand and then modify. Remember when you type in the Google, when you type the word, and then they will suggest you, you will have a pull down menu that will suggest you what will be the possible keyword that you will search for. So that one is query expansion or query modification, because the system will suggest to you what is the next word that you will be typing the best in order to get the best result. Okay, so once you have expanded them and then modify, then you retrieve from the collection and then retrieve them, and then you need to perform the ranking. Okay, so we will study about this. Yes, we will study about this one. How do we expand? And then we also look at how do we retrieve them, and then how do we rank them. So those are the tasks that you will be learning. Okay. Okay. The information retrieval now become more important due to a few factors. The first one is because the web. Every day we key in more information. We have more pages on information, unstructured information in terms of document. So the ranking and indexing component of any search engine are very important in IR, because we have more and more unstructured data coming in. Okay, there are few major impact of the web on search. The first one is we need crawler. So the crawler function is to crawl the web and then provide all the document that you have based on the topic that you wanted to crawl. So basically, you you send this program. A crawler is just a program. So what they do, they will scan the page, and then if there is a hypertext link to another page, they will crawl to that document also. So basically they will have a seed page. A seed page is just a starting page where your crawler start to crawling, and then they will go to the next document that has a hypertext link. The second one is we want to have a good performance and scalability of IR system. Okay, so due to the fact that every day we will have large volume of information added into the web. So we need to have a system that could retrieve the document in terms of quality and also in terms of scalability, meaning that they can cover more area. Okay, so these are the second major impact. Okay, the third major impact is, since we have a very large collection, so we should be able to do prediction based on the data that we have. Okay, so something like this. This is the document length. This is the probability that the document is more important with respect to certain topic of what you try to research. Okay, so by having more collection, we will be able to predict which document is the best answer for your query. And the fourth one is that with this information retrieval, they will try to use that one to use in their daily business. For example, from the web, you can find the price of a book. You can find the phone number of a hotel, and you can link for downloading a software. I give you some example first. Let me switch to the web. I try to share my screen here. Here. Okay. So can you see the Firefox? So
Yes.
if I type my name,
Okay.
If you look, I type my name, but the the system just see the input that I type is just RAYNER, kan? But the server that they have perform the profiling. Profiling meaning that if you type in a certain keyword, they will profile that keyword. They will say, okay, this is a building or a person or perbuatan and so on. Okay, so if you look at this one, it said Renner Alfred, researcher. Okay, researcher. How do they come up with this? So they say, okay, um, this is the brief introduction, and then let me expand this one. And and they also have, okay, these are some of the work that I've done. Okay, and also they say, okay, this is some of the publication. So they also mention about I'm with who and what is my research interest. Okay, so how do they group all this information from different websites? This is coming from different websites. Okay, so that is what we call user profiling. So based on the keyword that they have, they will try to pull all those information from different website and they will summarize. Summarize. Okay. So if I go back to okay, and again, okay, if I type computational, so you can see all down here. This is the possible keyword that I could be typing, and they have suggested this one. So this is what we call query expansion. We expand the query based on the additional keyword that they have suggested. So how do they know that, okay, I'm going to type thinking or linguistic or physics here? So this is based on statistics, what they have in their system. So most probably I will type thinking or linguistic, but if I change this one to science, then they also follow what is next one, yeah? Okay. But let me okay. So the way I query this one, this is me. I log in. I log in as myself. Okay. If I sign out, if I type computational, the, the list of here will be different. Will be different. Okay. Now they do not have my profile login. So the list of possible input here will be different because it depends on the user punya profile juga. Okay, so if I sign in, I will nil. Okay, I go back to the slide. Okay, so meaning that when they have all the tools, they will be able to extract the price of the book. They will be able to find the phone number of a hotel, and then they will be able to link for downloading certain information. Okay. The fifth major ni will be the spam, web spam. So you will have a lot of advertisement coming to you if you click the wrong website, or you will get an email, or they're asking for your email. So be careful of that one. Okay, some of the practical issue on the web, security. So commercial transaction over the internet are not yet a completely safe procedure. Ada yang kena scam, ada yang kena copy dia punya password. The same thing goes to the privacy. Frequently, people are willing to exchange information as long as it does not become public. Okay, some of you sharing password through WhatsApp or through email. The other thing is the copyright and patent right of certain document that you have on the web. How do you claim that that is your work? Okay. We also have scanning, optical character recognition, and cross-language retrieval. Okay, some document has been written with multiple languages, and how do you perform cross-language retrieval and so on. Okay, even let me see, even this one. Can you see this one? So I Google for myself, and then over here they say I can claim this knowledge panel, meaning that I log in, but I want to claim that all of this is mine. But somehow they have a few processes on how do you verify that that is your profile. Okay, so get verified, and then is random alphabet the name of a person, organization, entity that you are trying to claim? Yes. And select the most. I am this person. Okay. Tell us why you claiming this knowledge panel. So you give this, give this. Even you have filled up all these things, and they give you, okay, they said selfie with ID. So you selfie with your ID, like this one. Then do you have any website profile of you? Screenshot also. This one, if you have second web and so on, then you click and submit. So meaning that whatever posted on the website, you cannot simply claim that is yours. Okay? So they have a few security measures on how do you claim that one is yours. Okay. Okay. So that's dealing with this one, copyright and patent right. How do you say that that work or that knowledge panel is yours? So someone else can steal your knowledge work. Okay. So looking at the cost content, what we have done today is this one only lah. Just happy hour introduction. Okay. So next one we will go into this user interface for search, and then if we look at the cover topic here, this is the more advanced technique. Not more advanced. Remember when I show you the processes involved? We have two parts. The first part is indexing and searching, and then we also have this document and query, classic IR, and user interface. Okay. So we will cover this. If we have more time, then we'll cover this. Okay. So the topic covered will be up to here only. Okay. So any question?
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. So let me stop this.